Hi, good morning. How are you doing? This is Kim Reads Urantia, and I'm going to read from the Urantia book. First, I'm going to read something else. Okay, from Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Okay, and this is August 16th, and this quote is by Harry Emerson Fosdick, who was a preacher in the early 1900s. Harry Emerson Fosdick, and he lived from 1878 to 1969 in New York. And I'm just judging by the look of him, but I think he's a mixed race person, and he was a central figure in the fundamentalist modernist controversy. So he was challenging fundamentalism even back then in like the 1920s. A notable person. And if you know, it's hard to be a mixed race person today. It was probably a lot harder to be to walk that tightrope back in the 100 years ago. So let's be grateful for the life of Harry Emerson Fosdick today. Cure thy children's warring madness. Bend our pride to thy control. Shame our wanton, selfish gladness. Rich in things and poor in soul. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, lest we miss thy kingdom's goal. Lest we miss thy kingdom's goal. Sounds like a hymn. Yes, shame our wanton, selfish gladness. The person that is rich in things but poor in soul. Of course, today we've got this hybrid in the prosperity gospel, right? God wants you to be rich so that you can give to the church. Okay, guys, that's a new take on a new twist on the same old tune. That's not what it's about. Okay. All right. So let's say here. Section 10, Rulers of the Superuniverses. This is section 10 of paper 15. The headquarters of the superuniverses are the seats of the high spiritual government of the time-space domains. The executive branch of the supergovernment, taking origin in the councils of the Trinity, is immediately directed by one of the seven master spirits of supreme supervision. Beings who sit upon seats of paradise authority and administer the superuniverses through the seven supreme executives stationed on the seven special worlds of the infinite spirit, the outermost satellites of paradise. The superuniverse headquarters are the abiding places of the reflective spirits and the reflective image aids. From this midway position, these marvelous beings conduct their tremendous reflectivity operations, thus ministering to the central universe above and to the local universes below. Okay. Okay, so remember that the master spirits don't sit in Uversa. They govern from the satellites that encircle the Isle of Paradise, right? Or they govern from paradise or from Havana. So I think that's good in that they're close to the will of God. And but they don't actually sit in the capital of Uversa. So in a way, that's kind of strange. But they have these aids. They use the reflective spirits and the reflective image aids to reflect the will of God upon the superuniverses. Okay, each superuniverse is presided over by 3 ancients of days, the joint chief executives of the super government. Okay. In its executive branch, the personnel of the superuniverse government consists of 7 different groups. Okay, so this is the executive branch. I always used to think of the ancients of days as being the judge branch. But I think all of this is under the 7 master spirits, under our master spirit here. And that being doesn't have a name. I would like to have a name for that being, but I don't know. But the 7 master spirits of supreme supervision are beings who sit upon seats of paradise authority and administer the superuniverses through the 7 supreme executives stationed on the 7 special worlds of the infinite spirit, the outermost satellites of paradise. Okay, right. So the circles of paradise here. Okay. Okay, so they're projecting the will of God onto these reflective spirits who are in Uversa, and then they reflect it throughout our super universe of Orvantin. Right. Okay, so there's 7 different groups. 1, the Ancients of Days. 2, the Perfecters of Wisdom. 3, Divine Counselors. 4, the Universal Censors. 5, the Mighty Messengers. 6, those high in authority. 7, those without name and number. Why would you even want to call something that? Okay, so I'm assuming here, because I know Ancients of Days are a big deal. So I'm assuming that this is a hierarchical representation, the most important first Ancients of Days down to those without name and number. That's what I'm assuming is true. Okay, let's keep going. The 3 Ancients of Days are immediately assisted by a core of 1 billion perfecters of wisdom. Wow. Okay, so there's just 3 Ancients of Days, and they are assisted, so they've got 1 billion perfecters of wisdom working for them, with whom are associated 3 billion divine counselors. Okay, 1 billion universal censors are attached to each super universe administration. These 3 groups are coordinate trinity personalities, taking origin directly and divinely in the paradise trinity. Let's see if I can represent this here. What is this? I'm going to try to give you a visual representation. I know you like it when I do this. Okay, so we've got 3 Ancients of Days. So, oh yeah, that goes like that. Okay, all right. So we've got here paradise here. So situated on paradise are the 7, okay, master spirits, right? Okay, the 7 master spirits, and then each one projects down here. So here's Urantia right here, and here is Uversa. So there's the reflective spirits here. And there is our master spirit. Okay, so it's like that here. So I've got paradise on the top here with the 7 satellites around here, like a string of pearls, right? So those are the worlds of the master spirits. And then so they project down. So our master spirit is here, projects down to the reflective spirits here on Uversa, and that projects God's will out to all corners of Urantia. Okay? All right, so that's one thing. And then let's look at something else again, right? So the Ancients of Days here on Uversa, in addition to those reflective spirits, we've got what we call the Ancients of Days. So there's only 3. All right, what's going on? Three Ancients of Days per super universe. So there's in total, there's only 21 Ancients of Days in all creation. Okay, 3 Ancients of Days. Each one of these, okay, the 3 Ancients of Days are immediately assisted by a core of 1 billion perfecters of wisdom. Okay, so here, these 3 have got 1 billion perfecters of wisdom. So each perfecter of wisdom saying has 3 divine counselors about. So here, so there's for each 3 divine counselors per perfecters of wisdom. Okay, and then 1 billion universal sensors are attached to each super universe administration. Okay, so then here, okay, so that's kind of a hierarchical thing. So here, assisting them, they've got 1 billion perfecters of wisdom assisting the Ancients of Days. And then for each, I'm saying for each perfecter of wisdom, there's 3 divine counselors. Okay, so this is like refining knowledge and understanding of, and giving context, a contextual richness to events that happen out here, right? Okay, so here in the midst here, then there is the 1 billion universal sensors. 1 So sensors, okay, that implies that we're throwing out. So these are probably beings that discard information that's not relevant, okay, to whatever's going on. It's not relevant, so we can discard all the, and our brains have these filters too. So these are the filters, the universal sensors. These three groups are coordinate Trinity personalities, taking origin directly and divinely in the Paradise Trinity. So these three are called the POWs, the divine counselors, and the universal sensors are Trinity divine coordinate Trinity personalities. There's so many labels and subheadings of everything. Okay, so that tells me that these three groups are not acting on behalf of individually the Father, the Son, or the Spirit. Like these are acting on behalf of all three together in their official capacity. Okay. So the filters, the counselors, and the perfection of wisdom. Okay. Right. So there is about 3 billion. See, but yeah, the ancients of days are supreme here to this. And then the perfecters of wisdom. And then these other beings here that assist them, right? Okay. What else was I going to put in here? I don't know. Right. So there's 3 billion. 3 billion divine counselors and only 1 billion universal sensors. Okay, so totally. Okay, let's keep going. All right. The remaining 3 orders, mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number, are glorified ascendant mortals. Right, so they're like us. They lived mortal lives. So when we grow up, we could be mighty messengers or one without name and number, something like that. Wouldn't that be cool? The first of these orders came up through the ascendant regime and passed through Havona in the days of Grand Fonda. Grand Fonda, of course, was the first mortal personality to arrive on Havona. He made it there. He was the first guy. Talk about Columbus, right? We should have got Grand Fonda Day instead of Columbus Day. Having attained paradise, they were mustered into the core of the finality, embraced by the Paradise Trinity, and subsequently assigned to the supernal service of the Ancients of Days. Okay. So these are what happens to mortals here. So we're coming up, we're embraced by the Trinity, and we serve the Ancients of Days. As a class, these 3 orders are known as Trinitized Sons of Attainment, being of dual origin, but now of Trinity service. Thus was the executive branch of the superuniverse government enlarged to include the glorified and perfected children of the evolutionary world. Because these first 4 here are just divinely created beings. They're just created perfect. But these are Trinitized Sons of Attainment. Right? So then we've got the mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number. And these used to be mortals. There's the trinitized sons of attainment. Right, so these were mortals. Like us. We could be one of these. Okay? Mighty messengers. Those high in authority and those without name and number. Okay. Okay. As a class, these three orders are known as Thus was the executive branch of the superuniverse government enlarged to include the glorified and perfected children of the evolutionary worlds. Thank you for including us. The coordinate council of the superuniverse is composed of the 7 executive groups previously named and the following sector rulers and other regional overseers. Okay. These are seven executive groups previously named and the following sector rulers. So this is called the Coordinate Council of the Superuniverse. So these guys here are the guys that we just said. Those are 7 executive groups. And there's 7 more of these that are sector rulers and other regional overseers. Gosh, I'm not going to write this down anymore. I just got to read it, okay? Okay, 1, the perfections of days. Okay, so that this seems like these are divisions of the ancients of days because they're more, and I can't help it, but this is about history to me. The ancients of days, the perfections of days. So it's about time. I think they must be keyed in to some aspect of time. Like they get to decide how to slice and dice time. Which realities are not productive of spiritual value. Right? If the tree, that's the pruning of the tree. So there's all these possible branches and vines. The ones that are not bearing forth fruit, well, we got to nip them. When it's all shriveled up and it's taking resources away from what else is living and thriving, then these guys come and nip that time-space continuum. So I think they have central roles in doing that, but they're not going to do that. That's a big, huge responsibility, authority. So there's some reality out here that is in any way productive of spiritual value. We're going to preserve that. We're going to send divine personalities out here to harvest that spiritual value, okay, and make sure that it's not wasted. All right. Okay. So that's the perfections of days. The rulers of the super universe major sectors. Right. And then the recents of days are the directors of the super universe minor sectors. Okay, so this is so remember we talked about before, there's the divisions of the super universe. Where did it talk about that? The sacred spheres of paradise and the what do they talk about that? Yeah. It wasn't too long ago we had that. Okay, was it? Yeah, okay. In section 2 of paper 15, we talked about the major sectors and the minor sectors. Okay, so there's the ancients of days that rule the super universes. There's the perfections of days that rule the major sectors. And then there's the recents of days are the directors of the super universe minor sectors. 3, the unions of days are the paradise advisors to the rulers of the local universes. So here there's a differentiation in role too. The last two of them were rulers, and the recents of days are directors. The unions of days, on the other hand, we're looking at a bit of a demotion here. The paradise advisors to the rulers. So now they're advisors to the rulers. They're not actually ruling themselves. Okay, faithfuls of days are the paradise counselors to the most high rulers of the constellation governments. Okay, because the unions of days, okay, yeah, we're going to go back to unions of days here because Jesus is the creator son. The local universes are effectively ruled by their creator sons. Right. So they're ruled by the creator sons. Okay. Right. Local universes. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Does that make sense? So Jesus has the final say so when he's about Nebadon, what happens in Nebadon, because he has earned his sovereignty over our full sovereignty, is our full sovereign over Nebadon. Okay. All right, I'm keeping going. Okay, unions of days are paradise advisors to the rulers of the local universes. 4, faithfuls of days are the paradise counselors to the most high rulers of the constellation governments. Okay, so that's, yeah. And then the Trinity teacher's sons who may chance to be on duty at Super Universe headquarters. Okay, so that's, so the most high rulers, okay, the faithfuls of days counsel the most highs. That's where Edentia is, the capital of Norlashadek. That's where the tree of life comes from. So now we're talking about beings that are under Jesus here. Right. Whenever we hear the idea of on high or most high, we're talking about constellation fathers. Okay, the Trinity teacher sons then. So it doesn't go down to system level. System level here, Trinity teacher sons who chance to be on duty at Super Universe headquarters. And it doesn't tell anything about what they do. It just says they may chance to be on duty at Super Universe headquarters. Okay. 6. The Eternals of days, who may happen to be present at Super Universe headquarters. So it doesn't say anything about what they're doing when they're not on duty at Super Universe headquarters. See, I like how they plant little mysteries in here. That's also why I know this wasn't written by a human, because humans would not, there wouldn't be any value in that. That's an obscure kind of missing thing. They'd either explain that or they wouldn't go into this here thing. It's very interesting. To me, it's very jarring. 7, the 7 reflective images. Okay, we already talked about these a little bit. The spokesman of the 7 reflective spirits, and through them representatives of the 7 master spirits of paradise. Okay. So these are the reflective images which assist the master spirits in projecting their will upon the super universe. Okay, the reflective image aids also function as the representatives of numerous groups of beings who are influential in the super-universe governments, but who are not, at present, for various reasons, fully active in their individual capacities. Embraced within this group are the evolving super-universe personality manifestation of the Supreme Being, the unqualified supervisors of the Supreme, the qualified vice regents of the Ultimate, the unnamed liaison, reflectivators of Magiston, and the superpersonal spirit representatives of the Eternal Sun. Okay. So these groups are not, for various reasons, fully active in their individual capacities. So these reflective image aids reflect they represent these other beings who aren't really being utilized right now, but they want to be utilized. So the reflective image aids go like, okay, well, these guys can help with that. Do we need these guys to help with that? Stuff like that. Okay. The evolving super universe personality manifestation. Super universe personality manifestation of the Supreme Being. Okay, so that means like a slice of the Supreme Being, like a seventh of the Supreme Being. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, okay, so would you like a seventh of you represented? Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. At almost all times, it is possible to find representatives of all groups of created beings on the headquarters worlds of the super universes. So all the beings are represented there. That's what they're saying. Everybody's represented. The routine ministering work of the super universes is performed by the mighty Sekanophim and by other members of the vast family of the infinite spirit. Okay, ministering work, telling us about God's will and about our own growth. Yeah, informing our own best growth. Yeah. In the work of these marvelous centers of super universe administration, control, ministry, and executive judgment, the intelligences of every sphere of universal life are mingled in effective service, wise administration, loving ministry, and just judgment. The super universes do not maintain any sort of ambassadorial representation. Okay, so they don't send ambassadors to let's send ambassadors from our super universe to number 6 or to number 1 or to number 3 or something. They know of mutual affairs only through the Paradise Clearinghouse maintained by the 7 master spirits. Their rulers work in the councils of divine wisdom for the welfare of their own super universes, regardless of what may be transpiring in other sections of the universal creation. This isolation of the super universes will persist until such time as their coordination is achieved by the more complete factualization of the personality sovereignty of the evolving experiential supreme being. I don't know. So all I'm seeing here is that they don't know each other too well. The masters of the different super universes that at the higher levels, they're aware of each other's existence, but they don't really do ambassadorial stuff. Their rulers work in the councils of divine wisdom for the welfare of their own super universes, regardless of what may be transpiring in other sections of the universal creation. So our master spirit and these guys, they are pro Orvanton. They're not necessarily anti super universe number 6, but primarily they're advocating for the needs of Orvanton. Right? This isolation of the super universes will persist until such time as their coordination is achieved by the more complete factualization of the personality sovereignty of the. Okay, so the union of the super universes or is something that's gradually will manifest, but we're not at that stage. So it's something we are isolated here. We are only for ourselves, but it's something like even in these higher levels, this idea of unity is coming up very slowly, very gradually. Even at those high levels, there's beings working on that, working on doing that. That's pretty amazing. At all these levels, it's unity is coming into being. It's not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. It's a miracle at all levels and phases of creation. So when that happens here, we have to understand that we're witnessing miracles if we're able to facilitate that happening. People from different places being able to communicate with each other, that's no less than miraculous. It's huge. So this globalization of community, that we can enjoy music from Mongolia and understand that we've got the same interests as people across the other side of the planet. That's a huge thing. So let's be grateful for that. Let's be grateful for that. Okay. You have a good day. Thank you. Okay, bye.